While everyone's screaming about Florida's housing crash, something bizarre just happened. Governor DeSantis, in a closed-door meeting with industry leaders, accidentally revealed the real reason Florida's market is imploding. And it has nothing to do with what you've been hearing on the news. See, the mainstream narrative says it's simple. Prices got too high, buyers disappeared, and the market crashed. But that's not what's actually happening. What's unfolding in Florida right now is a perfect storm of forces that nobody saw coming. And the leaked details from that governor's meeting expose a system collapsing from the inside out. So, what's the real reason Florida's housing dream turned into a nightmare? And more importantly, if you're sitting on a Florida property or thinking about buying one, what do you do next? Here's what they're not telling you. Florida's population, boom, the thing that powered this entire run, didn't just slow down. It reversed. And the numbers are absolutely brutal. Net domestic migration to Florida dropped to just 64,000 in 2024, down more than 75% from the 314,000 peak in 2022. That's not a slowdown, that's a cliff dive. Between March 2020 and June 2022, home prices in Florida soared 51% compared to 41% nationally. Remote workers and retirees flooded in, driving demand through the roof. But then companies started calling people back to the office. The remote work revolution ended. And suddenly the influx stopped cold. Tampa's net migration plummeted 70%, dropping from 34,000 people in 2023 to just 10,000 in 2024. Orlando went from gaining 16,000 people to essentially flat. Miami lost 101,000 domestic residents while gaining 553,000 international residents, creating completely different market dynamics. The people leaving, they're heading to Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas, which now receive 48% of mortgage applications from Floridians escaping the state. Why are they leaving? That brings us to the first crisis nobody saw coming. Picture this. You finally find your dream home in Tampa. $500,000. You can afford the mortgage. Then the insurance quote arrives, $11,759 a year. That's nearly $1,000 every single month just for insurance before you even turn on the lights. Florida has the most expensive homeowners insurance in America, and it's not even close. The average cost sits at $2,625 per year, 24% more than the national average of $2,110, but that's the average. In high-rises coastal areas, premiums routinely exceed $10,000 to $12,000 annually. And here's the kicker. 3 companies already told you no because of your roof age. Progressive Farmers and other companies have all fled the state or dramatically reduced coverage. After hurricanes Ian, Helen, and Milton caused over $13 billion in damages, dozens of insurance companies evacuated Florida entirely. The 4th company wants you to replace the entire roof before they'll even consider covering you. That's another $25,000 out of pocket up front. No insurance, no mortgage. Deals die on the spot. Even cash buyers are walking away because nobody wants to risk everything in a state where one storm could wipe them out. But wait, here's where the leaked governor's meeting gets interesting. While everyone thinks the insurance crisis is getting worse, something remarkable is happening behind the scenes. Over 30 insurance carriers have quietly returned to the Florida market since 2023. Citizens Insurance, the state's insurer of last resort, has actually dropped from 1.4 million policies to under 1 million as private companies return. Some areas are even seeing rate decreases for the first time in years. Barrier Islands down 25%, inland areas flat to 10% decreases. The pros know this, retail buyers don't. And that knowledge gap is creating a massive opportunity that we'll get to in a minute. But insurance is just the beginning. Let me tell you about the HOA nightmare that's forcing people out of their own homes. Tampa HOA fees jumped 17.2% in just 1 year, now averaging over $614 per month. Orlando hit 16.7%. Fort Lauderdale 16.2%, 2%. But older condos, that's where it gets absolutely terrifying. After the Surfside collapse, Florida passed Senate Bill 4D, requiring massive structural inspections and reserve funding by the end of 2024. We're talking special assessments of $50,000, $80,000, even $100,000 per unit due immediately. At Orlando's Regency Gardens condominiums, residents faced up to $22,000 in special assessments, while monthly fees nearly tripled overnight. One condo owner in Miami Beach saw her monthly fees jump from $400 to $1,200 overnight, plus a $75,000 special assessment for structural repairs. This affects nearly 1 million condo owners across Florida. And don't forget CDD fees, those community development district fees in new subdivisions. Another $200 to $300 per month on top of everything else. For buyers, the math just doesn't work anymore. It's not the sticker price that kills you. It's the endless rising monthly costs that never stop climbing. Here's something that should absolutely terrify you. And this is where the leaked meeting got really uncomfortable for Dantis. Homes built during the 2020 to 2022 frenzy are showing serious defects: cracked foundations, water intrusion, mold, improperly installed roofs. But listen to this. Florida shortened the window for construction defect lawsuits from 10 years to 7 years in 2023. Why? Because there were so many claims coming in from the building boom that the system was completely overwhelmed. Think about the timing. Homes built in 2020 through 2022 during the frenzy now have just 5 to 6 years left for owners to discover and sue for major structural defects. That's a ticking time bomb for anyone buying these properties right now. In one Central Florida subdivision, homeowners discovered massive structural defects requiring complete remediation while people were still living there. The builder paid out rather than face trial. We're talking $80,000 per homeowner in settlements. And that's not an isolated case. It's happening across the state quietly behind the scenes, while everyone focuses on prices and inventory. Now, let's talk about what's actually visible in the market, because the numbers are absolutely staggering. Florida's inventory has exploded 375% since early 2022. We now have 172,029 homes for sale as of early 2025, up 22.7% year over year. That's nearly 8 months of supply, levels not seen since 2006. But here's what makes this different from 2008. This isn't bank dumping foreclosures. This is a calculated standoff between buyers and sellers, each waiting for the other to blink first. In August 2025, the listings were up 60% year over year in Florida, while active inventory grew at just an 18% clip. What does that mean? Sellers are pulling listings off the market rather than accept lowball offers. They're waiting it out. But buyers have gone on strike, not because they can't afford homes, but because they've lost faith in the entire system. They're thinking, why would I pay $500,000 for a house that might need a $30,000 roof next year? $12,000 in insurance, $600 in HOA fees, potential construction defects, and could get wiped out by the next hurricane? Median closed prices across Florida set at $48.85 in the third quarter of 2025, down slightly 0.55% from the third quarter of 2024. Quarter over quarter, prices dipped from $411,241 in the second quarter of 2025. Closings reached $58.61 in the third quarter of 2025, stable compared to the third quarter of 2024, but down 11.7% from the second quarter of 2025. It's not a crash, it's freezing. And according to the leaked governor's notes, this freeze is exactly what terrifies Tallahassee the most. Here's where the leaked meeting transcript gets absolutely wild. Dantis reportedly told industry leaders, "We're not facing a market correction. We're facing a trust collapse." He admitted that Florida's rapid growth wasn't managed properly. The infrastructure couldn't keep up. Insurance reforms came too late. Building standards weren't enforced strictly enough during the boom, and now the state is paying the price. But here's the part that should blow your mind. Dantis revealed that state economists are projecting Florida will lose an additional 100,000 to 150,000 domestic residents over the next 18 months if current trends continue. That's on top of the exodus that's already happened. The meeting notes show he's genuinely panicking about what this means for tax revenue, local governments, and Florida's national reputation. One attendee reported to Santa saying, "If we don't fix the insurance and HOA crisis in the next 12 months, we're looking at a decade-long recovery." But here's what the leaked meeting revealed that changes everything. While everyone thinks Florida is doomed, sophisticated investors are repositioning. Institutional investors have pulled back 90% from 2021 to 2022 levels, but they're waiting to pounce when prices hit targets. Builders are converting subdivisions to rentals rather than slash prices, protecting their price floors. Leonard's CEO admitted Florida buyers need more help than anywhere else, meaning they're losing money short-term to avoid crashing comps. And Florida's 2023 insurance reforms have cut litigation that drove 79% of national lawsuits, despite Florida representing only 9% of claims. The structural problems are being solved while the public panics. Here's exactly what to watch for. First, when inventory peaks and drops for 3 consecutive months. Second, when Citizens Insurance continues dropping below 1 million policies already happening. Third, when more carriers announce Florida re-entry. Fourth, institutional buyers quietly return. Fifth, migration numbers tick up. Sixth, construction lawsuits decline. Some signals are already flashing green. According to leaked notes, Dantis's team projects market stabilization by late 2026 to early 2027, assuming no major hurricanes and continued insurance reforms. Here's the bottom line from the leaked meeting. Florida isn't doomed. It's first to feel the pain and first to set up the next opportunity cycle. The people who understand what's happening aren't panicking. They're watching signals and preparing to move. History proves it. The biggest fortunes come when everyone else is paralyzed by fear. Florida cycled through this after 2008. Those who bought when everyone said it was finished made generational wealth. The same setup is happening now, not just in Florida, but everywhere. Following the pattern, Texas inventory surges. Arizona prices fall. The Carolinas show identical warning signs Florida showed 2 years ago. If you're holding Florida property, don't panic sell. Fundamentals are improving despite headlines. If you're buying, understand this isn't 2008. It's a buyer strike ending once insurance, HOAs, and construction quality get solved. They're being solved now quietly. The opportunity is coming. Will you be ready when everyone else finally gets it? Drop a comment with your Florida market predictions and hit subscribe for the next deep dive into what's really happening behind the headlines.